right, gang, wanted to hop in here, talk a little Jadeveon Clowney. This coming by way of Jordan Schultz. He initially starts out with following Jadeveon Clowney's visit with the New York Jets. He and the organization have remained in constant contact, with one source describing New York as highly motivated to try and secure a deal with Clowney. I'm told both the Panthers and Ravens remained interested in him as well. The Jets have been searching for a pass rusher, especially with Bryce Huff leaving for Philly. They were in on Shaq Barrett until the very end, and they like Jadeveon Clowney a lot. There's a lot of competition. So obviously, I really like Jadeveon Clowney. Really solid in the run defense game. Really solid pass rusher. High pedigree, number 1 overall pick, all that good stuff. Contractually, probably not going to be crazy. Shaq Barrett got 1 year, $9 million. You would think with the Jets being in on him and on Clowney, they're sort of valuing that same type of contract or type of player in the realm of that potential price range. It would make a lot of sense. And obviously, if you bring in a Jadeveon Clowney, I would argue it's probably a net positive comparative to paying Bryce Huff $17.5 million to be more of a situational pass rusher. So Jadeveon Clowney, absolutely a monster upgrade for the New York Jets defensive line. And I feel like, that would be the best route to go, obviously. Now, the Panthers, the Ravens, both going to be high options on his list. You would think the Panthers are probably going to be the most lucrative contract that he could get. And then the Ravens would be a situation of, are they going to offer as much as the Jets? I would think the Jets would have to offer more than them. And then does he prefer, does he want to move at all? He's kind of been a mercenary. He's bounced around a little bit throughout his career. So it's entirely possible he may want to come here, or that he's just using us as leverage to get more money out of the Ravens to stay in Baltimore. So fascinating to see where this could potentially go. Now, I've got 2 players that I think the New York Jets could strongly consider with this particular position in the event that Clowney does sign elsewhere. The first player I think could be an option for the New York Jets is a familiar face for Robert Saleh, and that's Yannick Ngabin. He was originally drafted by the Jaguars when Robert Saleh was the linebackers coach down in Jacksonville, so I think that could make a lot of sense. He is definitely more of a situational pass rusher, similar to a Bryce Huff, as opposed to a more well-rounded player like Jadeveon Clowney would be, so I'm not as high on him comparatively to Jadeveon Clowney. Contractually, I believe he signed a $10.5 million contract with the Bears last year. So from a price point perspective, you can kind of see where that might be attractive for the New York Jets, although they may not be willing to go as high for Ngabin in the event that they want to have that more well-rounded edge rusher that would provide you some support in the run game as well. So one name to maybe watch out for. The other name I think you could keep an eye on is one in the NFL draft, and that is the pass rusher from UCLA that not as many people are talking about. And that is Gabriel Murphy, the edge rusher opposite 𝐂𝐿𝐼𝐷𝐿. 𝐂𝐿𝐼𝐷𝐿 had the neck injury, 2 years, knocked out of the game. Considered a top first round pick, top 25 pick, whatever. Could have been probably top 10 without the medical injuries and all that. Now, his cohort, Gabriel Murphy, very much not as well known because of the how much star power 𝐿𝐼𝐷𝐿 has, but this guy could be had potentially in the 3rd round. So if the Jets are looking to spend this amount of money on an edge rusher for 1 year, maybe they're willing to have one of these types of edge rushers for a 4-year contract with the 72 pick. Maybe the Jets can trade down. You accomplish offensive line, wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. Then in the 3rd round, you start looking maybe another premium position on a cheap contract because the Jets obviously love their edge rushers and pass rushers and whatever. And when you look at Gabriel Murphy compared to 𝐂𝐿𝐼𝐷𝐿, obviously the sack numbers for 𝐿𝐼𝐷𝐿 are with 15, double that of Murphy. But look at the total pressures. 61 total pressures. 62 for 𝐿𝐼𝐷𝐿, 61 for Murphy. And Murphy only had a handful of more snaps. He had, 50 more snaps than 𝐿𝐼𝐷𝐿. So I think it's a 17% pressure rate compared to 𝐿𝐼𝐷𝐿's 20% pressure rate. But at the same time, you're getting him 2 rounds later. So I wasn't really thinking defensive side of the ball at all before round 4 probably, but looking at the Jets' needs and what they possibly want to do, I could see them take a swing on someone like this. Now, obviously, I'm hoping we wind up landing Jadeveon Clowney. I think that would be the perfect encapsulation of cheap, short contract, provides high upside draft, high upside pass rush, high upside run defense, while all giving you the veteran presence that he has. So I'm definitely more on board with Jadeveon Clowney than any of these other options. But if I had to pick something as a fallback, I'd probably lean more so on the draft route than going with Yannick Ngabin, because I think he might get overpaid for pass production when he hasn't been really up to snuff the last few years here. So guys, you can let me know in the comment section, do you want Jadeveon Clowney? How much are you willing to pay for him? Do you think it's going to be similar to the Shaq Barrett $9 million that he was offered? Do you want to go the draft route? Do you have any other defensive ends or edge rushers that you could be looking at this point in time if we don't get a Jadeveon Clowney? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets. Thank you guys so much for hitting the like and subscribe button on these videos. It goes a long way towards growing the channel. And then occasionally I get sponsors like this. So if you want to help support the sponsor of the channel, or maybe just get yourself some cool gear or some good discounts, you can click the link in the description down below. Today's sponsor, 𝐻𝐿𝐼, is going to give you 25% off your order using promo code JetsTalk. Link in the description down below. They've got gummies, THC syrup, THC seltzers. I just discovered these things. They are incredible. As someone who has been trying to cut down a little bit of their alcohol consumption and not, maybe feel as crummy the next day, this has been a godsend for me. Keep me nice and calm, cool, and collected, especially with all the hurdles that our Jets throw our way and all the headaches that we got to deal with as fans. So if you guys want to help support the channel, maybe get yourself a little bit of a discount as well. Support the sponsor of the channel, 𝐀𝐿𝐼. Thank you so much for watching the show.